Well, Cami Thelander, they say we save the best for last, and you are 100% one of the best at listening, at leaning in crafting incredible F-off sprays, still one of my favorite. Thank you for the healing work that you have initiated in me and for your support with the recording. She's helping us with this, people. It's amazing. Thank you for the goodness that you dedicated when we first met all those months ago. I can't remember if it's exactly a year or not, when we sat for a good hour on the grass after a Brighter Days grief center orientation. I hold gratitude for this grief bowl ceremony that you're going to offer for us. And thank you for giving it space.
Thanks, Kate.
You're welcome.
My name is Cami. I am a grief coach and a craniosacral therapist, and I create healing blends of essential oils as well. And I will be walking you through a tool that is helpful for processing grief. This is called a grief bowl ceremony. And for those who are going to be watching the recording, if you're doing this at home, you'll need a bowl of some kind and little sheets of paper and a pen. And then any other resources for comfort. So basically, when it comes to processing grief and emotions, in my own experience, I found myself turning to this just because I needed to hold space for what I was feeling. So this practice I developed unknowingly from my own need for holding space for what I was experiencing. So I found myself returning to this practice when I was particularly deep in the kind of grief where everything's like swirling and you don't really understand anything and there's too many emotions to try to figure out. And I just found myself writing what I was feeling and placing it in this bowl. So that's exactly what we do here. Is basically the bowl is acting as a physical container for what's going on internally and can act as a space for us to purge or process or grasp a little bit easier in a more tangible way that's a little bit easier to digest and understand when we give it a form. So that's why I like the physical bowl of having something to look at what I'm experiencing. And then these slips of paper, you'll be writing down what you're noticing, what you're feeling, all the things you're grieving, the things that you want to process or help to release or understand in some way. So at home, I have this grief bowl that I return to, but anything can live in there. I have mementos. Sometimes I have photos that I put in there. Anything that I feel like I'm grieving and I just want to be present with, I will place in my grief bowl or around my little ceremony space that I have. So I will walk you through how this technique works, and we'll give some space to witness and be present with our grief and things that may have been stirred up today, to just allow a little time to be with that and sit with that. So we'll start out with a quick body scan just to notice what's here for us. So make yourselves comfortable, whether that's seated or laying down. And gently close the eyes and start to feel yourself breathing. Just noticing the breath moving through the body. Feeling your body resting on the earth. Feeling that support underneath you. Noticing all of those places where your body is making contact with the support underneath you. And start to follow the breath inward. feeling the air come in through the nose, down the throat, into the lungs, expanding the chest and the belly. And noticing that gentle deflation as you exhale, and the warm air leaving the nostrils. Starting to bring some awareness to your internal landscape. So maybe you start at the very top of the head and work your way ever so slowly down towards the toes. And just noticing any sensations in the body. Noticing any areas that might feel tense, areas of tightness or grasping. Or maybe there are areas of support, areas of comfort. Just starting to bring some awareness to how you're feeling. Noticing any emotions that might be present. Without labels or judgment, just noticing them, noticing where those feelings or emotions might be taking up space within the body. And as you notice those places of tension, maybe you notice areas that feel like you're clenched or you're holding on to something. And I invite you to be curious. What are you holding on to? Is there something living within that space in your body that's calling for your love, for your attention? Just allowing that to bubble up, come into your consciousness. And if there's someone or something that you're missing, take a moment to gently say their name to yourself. And just notice what's coming up for you. If you're grieving someone or something or an event that happened, maybe things that happened or things that will never happen, just noticing where those feelings might be taking place in the body, and allowing them to be there. allowing your grief to be witnessed, to be felt, be acknowledged. Bringing your attention back to the breath. Noticing your body and the support underneath you. And I invite you to place your hands over your heart or your stomach. Just connect to your center. And on your next inhale, I invite you to take a nice, deep, smooth, gentle breath in, filling up the body, feeling that expansion. And a nice, long exhale. Breathing yourself back into this physical space, into this room. And another deep breath in. And when you're ready, you can orient yourself back to this space. Gently blink the eyes open. And find your pen and your slips of paper. And start to name or recognize anything that came up for you in that body scan, anything that bubbled up into your awareness, any feelings that are present for you right now. Naming any pain or anything that you were holding on to that you noticed in your body. Yep, and then you can place those in the bowl once you have your little slip of paper. And each slip of paper can be something separate, or if they're relevant and you want to put a few into one piece of paper and finish a thought. Whatever feels right for you. There's no wrong way to do this. Maybe you name a person or a date or an event. Maybe you'd like to give some space for things that you're letting go of, things that you're grieving, things that were lost, things that will never be. Maybe there's something that you noticed you were clinging or holding on to that's ready to be released, that you're ready to move out of your body. And use your words in this slip of paper to help to move some of those emotions or some of that energy. Maybe you noticed something come up for you that you're not ready to release or let go of, and that's okay too. You can hold that in your bowl. Let the bowl hold it for you instead of carrying it in your body. And as you're giving space for any feelings, just allowing tears or noises or movements or breath, however that energy wants to move through you, just giving yourself that space and the opportunity to experience that. And you can write until you feel complete for now, however long you need. We'll take a couple more minutes. And as you're sitting with the slips of paper and all the things that you're holding space for, maybe you take a moment to reflect on what's in your grief bowl, what you're feeling internally, and seeing that manifest in a physical form. Just allowing yourself to digest that a little bit. Or if you have any intentions, anything that you would like to welcome into your experience, anything that you would like to hold space for, any hopes or wishes, you can write those down as well and hold space for that energy. As we start to clear things out, that creates space for new energy or feelings or experiences to come in, so we can be intentional about what we'd like to create and holding space for that too. take another minute. Okay. So you spent some time holding space for your grief, your feelings, your hopes, your dreams, whatever was coming up for you, and allowed yourself to witness and experience that and hold space for that. And a part of the ceremony and grief in general, there's a magic to witnessing from ourselves and from others. So if this is something that feels comfortable and something that you feel like you'd like to express to the others in this circle, in this space, then I invite you to share anything that you might be holding space for that you'd like to verbalize or process, or to be seen and heard and acknowledged in a safe space. So now would be the time that before we stop the recording here quick, I want to mention too, for those that are doing this practice at home, that if you have a grief bowl that you return to, that as you have slips of paper in here that you placed today or at other times, that I encourage you to return back and read what you had wrote. And if anything is no longer relevant, take it out and burn it or tear it up or toss it in the wind or whatever feels good to really release that energy and to make a little ritual of this ending, some chapter of your life that's coming to a close. Whenever you're ready to really let go of that and kind of put an end to it, to take it out of your grief bowl, like you're no longer holding space for that anymore, and to make a little ritual or a ceremony of that as well. So yeah, that's basically it.